Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. It's Scooby-Doo Tuesday, guys. You know what that means? Of course it means we're here continuing the journey of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. This is Season 2, Episode 5, The Hodag of Horror. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I do apologize. I'm assuming they'll say the word within the episode, so we'll see what happens. But anyways, interesting title nonetheless. So the main thing about last week's episode, the main thing I want to talk about briefly here, before we get into this episode, of course, besides the fact that the villain, you know, the guy who was a part of the kids or whatever back when they played like a version of Dungeons and Dragons was actually the Dreamweaver. He created some sort of machine to get into people's dreams. Besides all that craziness, which I feel like is breaking the show, but whatever, is the main thing at the end. Fred's parents show back up. Pretty much out of nowhere, it feels like. But they're here. They clean the house, and they're here, and then it just ends. So we don't get any more response from Fred besides like, Mom, Dad, like, and then that's it. I'm like, so I hate waiting, but it is what it is. But I'm excited to get to this episode, guys, to see what's going on, because with that reveal at the end there, but I can't even talk. It's a day. I'm ready for the day to be over. So it's been a pretty long day. But it's the fact that, okay, they have to continue that. Like, you know, it's not like a tease for like a couple episodes or something down the road. This is happening now. So I'm assuming the opening of this episode will continue that scene. So I cannot wait to see what they're doing back in Crystal Cove. What's going on? Why'd they wait a little bit to return to Crystal Cove? Kind of fishy. But anyways, let's get into now Season 2, Episode 5 of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Let's go. We're not opening with the parents?
Deliver unto your waiting, hungry minds. Straight from the primitive wilds of Wisconsin, that exotic land of caftans and cheese.
Like, hold on. That has to be the fakest looking monster I have ever seen. This place is a ripoff.
I mean, looks kind of like it is, yeah. Oh, shit. I kind of assumed it was something, but I wasn't. Oh! Dab me back in the intro.
Thanks, Judy.
So we're actually, okay, we're seeing this kind of early on.
Throw the floor open to any questions you might have. He threatened to do you bodily harm if we came back.
We're so sorry.
Judy and I do a little something with traps ourselves.
We dabble.
Well, I would
Have any of you heard of sternum and sternum?
You mean you're the sternums?
We keep our identities private because we're
Okay,
not in it for
interesting.
the glory.
They have a dog. Oh no, oh no, oh no.
A pup could get lost in eyes like those.
Oh, Scooby.
What did it steal, Daisy?
2 items. An expensive ruby necklace.
Daisy, I'll see you tonight at Mom and Dad's party. That is, unless you get attacked again. Hold on, Daphne.
It has a lot of tracks.
Fred, what would you do if you got...
Scooby.
You might be in love.
Try to snap out of it and...
What the hell?
Like, meet the Hodag, #1 attraction of Gene Shepard's traveling cabinet of curiosities.
What's in the high security box, Mr. Shepard?
Something very, very valuable.
Oh, okay. It's real. I mean, I don't know if it's real, but... Jesus. It wants the key, I bet. Oh. Blinding it. Scooby.
There's no law in the books against a curio coming to life and going crazy. What's this
There should be.
thing supposed to do? Any fond of talking dogs? Good luck, Hodag bait.
Well, since this is...
Oh, this is so fancy. A fancy party.
Never thought we'd hear those words coming out of their mouths.
Let's enjoy our reunion.
Fred's real, Mom? I think I have something that belongs to you. I wanted to give it back. Sort of a welcome home present.
Lady in the Trap. Oh my god.
Like, I'm bummed because there's all this free chow and my best chowing buddy's more interested in
Yeah.
some female than doing a smackdown.
Payback.
He's just following them around. Hot dog water. Hello. Oh, Jesus. It's implying it's killing them, but it's not. Come into darkness. Where are these people going? That's pretty scary. I'm gonna admit, that's kind of crazy they're showing this. The jingling. Oh, shit. The jingling.
My watch.
Okay.
Man brooch.
Brooch. there.
Like, look
Damn.
at all that loot.
What are you kids doing in here?
I've impounded all of your loot and your curio doohickey.
I don't think he's doing it.
Of my job. I can do anything I want because I'm Sheriff
Sheriff.
Bronson Stone.
What the fuck?
How come we didn't find Nova?
That's a good question.
Scooby's right. There's something very wrong.
There's a history of using bells to train animals, so I looked into it. Check it out.
Okay. Walk right by her.
Smoking hottie to Scarf Boy.
Now, go.
Ha! Got it.
Mmm. Okay, interesting.
That's it.
What the fuck?
Mr. Fussbuster.
I learned you could train a monkey to steal. Started stealing bells too. All of those
All the bells.
And then not only the 500-year-old cheese you have in your hand.
500-year-old cheese?
Yes, it was. Now toss the cheese up here and you won't get hurt.
Aww.
You kids keep it. It's cracked. Cracked and worthless.
Oh my god. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now.
No,
Not us.
Professor
Then
Pericles.
who did?
I did.
Yeah.
The little evil, the new Mystery Incorporated, have obtained the third and now the fourth piece of the planispheric disk. I have a little proposition for all of you.
What? What? That last scene is easily one of the best scenes that I've seen from this show. Holy crap. And I'll explain why I think it is. Because the mystery behind the original Mystery Incorporated during season 1 was just a big part of the story in regards to, okay, so who are these individuals? Why are they tied into these disc pieces and all that kind of stuff? And then we learned the full scope of the story and how Fred's dad, the actual, monster that the original Mystery Inc. faced, the freak, was tied into all of this, and Professor Pericles betrayed the original Mystery Inc. and all that kind of stuff. Like, all that stuff happened. And now we have this. We have the original Mystery Inc. back together, kinda. But Professor Pericles, he has some sort of proposition, a plan, a idea for all of them as like the original Mystery Inc. And it seems that and if they all accept, I don't know, because I feel like the one person who may not accept, I don't know about Fred's parents. That's still kind of there's some questionable things that I'm like, But Cassidy, Angel Dynamite, she, even though she tried to, be a part of help. When was it? It was episode 3. It was the Crybaby Clown Part 2. She tried to help and they didn't want her help, so maybe she might turn against them, but he wants them to stop. Professor Pericles wants them to stop getting pieces of the disc, because now they have another one. Because at first I'm like, what's so important about this 500-year-old cheese? It makes sense. It's what's inside the cheese. So this master, cheesemaker or whatever, back in a long time ago, 500 years ago during Crystal Cove, took a piece of the disc and hid it within cheese. And then that's what made the guy who had the traveling event or whatever in that vehicle drove to Crystal Cove, because he was being told to essentially to drive there. He said, the cheese told me. Well, now it makes more sense. It was actually the disc and the glowing when he opens the chest. And now it makes more sense. I'm like, what the fuck is glowing? Like, what is it? So interesting stuff. So I don't know. Here's what's I love, and here's what I get kind of annoyed by. I love when we get stuff like that, like this big scene with the original Mystery Inc. together, and Professor Pericles calls them together, and he's like, I have a proposition. They have to stop finding disc pieces. We have to stop this. And it's like, okay, and then they cut and they end it. That's the annoying part. I'm like, they give us some really cool shit, but I'm frustrated because it cuts too damn short. I want more. My God. Such a great scene. Overall crazy episode, right? The Hodag, I got that pronunciation correctly. So it was this creature, not a creature, it was a monkey. dressed up as the creature, and the monkey dressed up as a guy, and that's why he never spoke, and that's why he used his feet. He used a foot to chop the cheese in that first scene we get to see him, and he's walking kind of funny too. So now it makes more sense that that human was a monkey, and then he also pretended to be the monster and everything. And the backstory, you can see, whenever the villain of the week or whatever goes into their backstory, sometimes it's over the top in terms of like they're giving you too much information, but it also is kind of entertaining. And I thought his explanation, the cheesemaker, of why he did all this, by the way, holding up a dog, which I'm going to bring up a couple of things that I think are pretty shocking in terms of like showing this on TV, knowing this is for kids, right? It's tailored towards kids. Obviously, adults can enjoy this stuff. I'm 30. You guys know I'm fucking 30 years old. Like I'm watching this at 30 years old, and I'm loving this show, and it's tailored towards kids, so anybody can enjoy animation. But the fact is, it's supposed to be, the kids are supposed to watch this and enjoy this, right? And it's like they're showing some stuff, and let me just mention it now since I'm kind of bringing this all up now. So the part where they're being thrown into the darkness, and especially when they're being dragged into darkness by the monster. Okay, I know that it's not actually a monster. There's some sort of explanation. However, a kid, like 8, 9, 10 years old, may not really know that necessarily. And so seeing people get dragged to the darkness, especially with that one, I think it was a woman, starting to crawl out halfway out of the darkness, and then you see the eyes behind her and then pull her back in. That's scary. Now soon after, they showed that they just stole jewelry and stuff and stole valuables, but it could probably scare some kids. It could. And so it's like they show that. But also the other part too, besides the guy holding up the dog, which I know the dog's never going to be dropped or whatever, because Scooby saved her, right? Scooby's in love. He's smitten. But him holding the dog up in the air, on the top of the building, that was kind of like, you really showing that right now? Okay. And the other part is when the Hodag, the monster, grabs a hold of Scooby's, I forget her name, but it was Fred's real parents' dog, gets gripped in the teeth of the monster, and you see that clear as visual as day, right? And I'm like, wow. Now it's not chewing, he's not eating the dog, the monster isn't, but the visual of grabbing on and holding onto the dog in its teeth, obviously it's a costume, but you get what I'm saying. It could scare some kids. I mean, it's kind of like, whoa, okay, that's brutal. That's kind of brutal compared to like, kid shows. So, wow, that's kind of crazy. Because I just mentioned in the latest the Batman episode, there was a shot of Joker using a shovel, and he slammed it hard down on Batman. We don't see it, but we see him slamming, but we don't see him actually connect to Batman. But it's angled in a way so you know exactly what's happening. And that's kind of brutal, But so that was kind of interesting, some visuals there for sure to show how menacing this monster was. But the whole idea, it's this monkey, going back to the point of the fact that the monkey was trained to hear a bell and then he would just start stealing crap. Well, now he starts stealing bells. He was stealing bells and all kind of stuff, taking cat bells and then taking like just regular bells off of just anything and bringing them back, and that he drove the guy crazy. But he just wanted the cheese. I wonder if I'm guessing it was actually the cheese and not so much the disc inside, because he was obsessed with this 500-year-old piece of cheese, this big block of cheese, or wheel of cheese. So I guess that's what he really cared about, but I guess he didn't realize how significant it was because what's inside it. The design of the monster, pretty interesting stuff. I love the fact, and we'll talk about it now, Scooby-Doo being smitten. I like the fact that Scooby actually had a love interest, kinda, where he was like immediately drawn to her. And the fact is too, she was the same species of dog, the same breed, if you will, from Lady and the Tramp. She was the same as Lady. And so they had that moment of basically Lady and the Tramp, the spaghetti or whatever, and then that guy falling around with the violin. It's like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, right? And the fact that he's talking to the dog, she's not responding back, but he's like, get you lost in your eyes. And then he's just asking him questions about love. If Velma was there in front, be careful about love, it's going to happen quick, and then you're going to get pushed away or whatever. Like, you're really letting a lot of your anger still come out, Velma, about the whole situation. And then Shaggy was feeling like at the party before everything went to crap with the monster, that he's like, my best friend would rather spend time with a girl than eat with me at the buffet. She's like, well, like, it's like karma or whatever. Or she said something else. Maybe, did she say karma? Or maybe, but it's like, a payback or something. It's like, you know, it is payback, kind of, because that's exactly what happened to her. He would rather spend time with Scooby than spend time with her, and that's how everything fell apart between them. It's like, and I think Shaggy even agreed. He's like, yeah. See, it's like, at least he admits that he fumbled there, because I feel like it was interesting to see Shaggy and Velma together, right? Sounds interesting. So it's unfortunate that it didn't work out. Shaggy, it was the end of season 1. He was maybe thinking, maybe we try this again. Then Velma was like, nah. Okay. At least Velma told him kind of right away before it got too far. Because it would make it worse. It makes it more awkward. I think it still kind of is awkward between them, but they've learned to kind of talk without getting too deep into some awkward shit. Because they could easily make it awkward, right? But luckily they haven't really done that to the point where it's awkward to watch them working as a team or whatever. So that's good. So Fred's parents. So we'll get to that here at the end here. So Fred's parents explain, like, well, you know, you'd be harmed if we didn't come, that's what Fred was told, and the rest of them were told that, you know, I stole you away when you were a baby. So this is Fred's dad speaking at the end of season 1, and saying that, you know, I took you, and that I warned them that I would hurt, that those things would happen to you, or something bad would happen to you if they came back. So I get that point, but I don't know. Some of the things, like especially when Fred's mom says to the dad, he's like, I'm surprised they feel this way about us. Like, talking about Daphne's parents. Well, we saw Daphne's sister, like, she was the first one who's robbed. That was kind of interesting, right? To see one of the sisters, and she could give a shit. Of course, she was like just brushing her hair. That's the most important thing to her at that moment, explaining what happened to her. But they were mentioning about how, like, well, I'm surprised that your parents, you know, Daphne, your parents, like, would do this. Like, oh, you know, let's not worry about that. It's like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? So the thing is, too, we don't know a lot of information about them. We really don't know a lot of information outside of some small bits and pieces of Mr. E and even Professor Pericles. Like, we know enough of Professor Pericles in terms of he turned on the original Mystery Inc., and he once stopped them finding the disc pieces. I know they call it planet something. I still have to get that word down, so apologies if I'm not saying that word. But we just don't know enough about Fred's parents. So I don't know. I just feel kind of because it just seems kind of odd that they waited till now to show up. So I think that's a legitimate thing to question them on. They did answer a question, and they were in the episode, but we really don't, like, we haven't seen them and Fred really interact, and they should really interact more. This is son, mom, and dad finally reuniting after all this time, and Fred being told that this is your father, your mom, you know, it was all fake and everything. It's like, I think I'd feel better if they actually spent more time together. And maybe there's a story point of why they haven't, because I'm right. Something's going on. Maybe I figured something out. I have no idea. I'm just saying, it just feels kind of strange. It was a good episode, though, especially the ending. I want to know if they all agree with Professor Pericles, if they all agree with him about stopping the now Mystery Inc. to stop finding and searching and whatever for the disc pieces, then I'll know something definitely is up between Fred's parents of why they returned. I mean, I don't know why they returned. I was hoping that the reveal wasn't going to be that they were behind, you know, the monster and all that kind of stuff, but you never know, because, you know, they show up right before this guy shows up with his vehicle or whatever, so they could have been tied into it, but they were not. So we'll see. So anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. This was an overall fun episode. The ending was really, really good, and I cannot wait to see more. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.